Surviving 100 days on a zombie island in Minecraft. But here's the twist. We're trapped. And this is all one big game with an abundance of players taking part. Where the aim of the game is to survive 100 days on this zombie-infested island. Make it all the way to the end and you can get in the plane. It's your ticket out of here. And the only way out if the zombies don't get you by then. And since there's other players, zombies aren't the only threat. Sit back, relax, some twists are on the way. And let's take you back to where my story really begun. We were instructed to log onto the server and to follow all the rules. And most importantly, listen to everything they had to say. I logged online and instantly someone was aiming a gun right at my face, telling me to get against the wall. This was interesting. And it's great to see what the admins are actually doing for us here. But what's gonna happen? Once everyone was logged online, it was now time to get moving. So the admin opened the door and shoved us out. Emerging onto a street with a truck and a car waiting. Looking around, I could see that this town or city had fallen. Were the admins being nice and evacuating us? I know the answers, but that's my future self talking. At this current time, all the players here didn't know what game we were getting ourselves into. And it wasn't long until we were driving down the broken streets of whatever this town used to be. This journey took time, but in all honesty, it was actually building anticipation. I was getting excited for the adventure that was about to come, and we all knew roughly what we were getting ourselves into. We knew there were going to be zombies, we knew there were guns, we knew the mods that we had. But the mods weren't everything. It's the game mode that the admins have created for us players to compete against. So these little details are appreciated, especially by me. After being ferried through the town, we ended up at an airport. And this is where things get really interesting. An admin was ready to greet us. He led us through what was once, I'm sure, a thriving terminal. But now this airport looked abandoned. And it's a ghost town. We came to the departure section, and we were told that there was a diamond, iron, and gold door. Choose one of 3. It's your choice. At this point, a group was already starting to form. Jack and I wanted to go together, and Dermo and Bubbles were also coming with us. The others were shoved into their gates by the admins, while we waited because we were unsure if we should enter or not. I didn't want to get killed before the party even starts. But here we have a team of 4. And what looks like to be a plane waiting on the outside. This is very interesting. We were shoved through the gate and told to go down to the end and to jump into the vehicle. A plane is waiting for us. We all jumped into the plane. This was the vessel that was going to be taking us on an adventure. But I wouldn't call it an adventure of a lifetime. It's an adventure of death. The plane taxied up the runway, going past the other 2 planes where the other players were in. We were finally on the runway. And with that, the admin took a short pause. Until all you could hear is the roar of the engine. And we were off. The adventure is only beginning. After a 15-minute flight, we started to see land for the first time. An island was emerging, and the plane was beginning to descend. But little did we know, ourselves were descending into chaos. The plane touched down, and everything seemed quiet. Until we got to the end of the runway, and instantly we were greeted by flesh-eating zombies. I've experienced these guys before on another mod pack, and they're not easy. So we do have to take good care. Our first instincts was to get somewhere high, where we can take a breather and figure out a plan on what we're going to do. Because we have limited food, and walking around with no head on us is gonna get us killed. Maybe not by a zombie, maybe even by a player. So we must be careful. But that's when we learned we were definitely a few days into the adventure. Because while waiting on top of the tower, we saw another player, but not in the default stuff that we spawned in, but in Diamond and Iron, who was running past. We weren't the first players to be dropped off here. We didn't have long to figure out a plan, because while trying to contain the zombies on the ladder, Jack accidentally knocked me off. And with this, I had to jump down for safety. If I stayed up there, I would have died, but the whole team followed me. And now we had Monty Moo 2 here, who looks like was helping us out. These zombies were deadly. And now there was a second plane load of players here. They just landed, and this is the first thing they see. Complete chaos. As a 4-man group, we decided it's time to get out of here. So with that, we looked for a gap in the fence. I know for a fact zombies are 100% a threat. And it's easy to think that it's just the zombies we're against. But it's also other players. You can't trust anyone. They can kill if they want to. And some people find fun in that. When we left the airport, we found a house. Where being rookies, we thought would be a fantastic place to just lay low for a while. Gather our thoughts instead of running endlessly around the place. And we did gather our thoughts. Maybe too many thoughts. Because now we had a horde around the house and no way out. The doors were blocked. Mostly every window was covered. If we're gonna get out of here, we have to go for it. So we decided we'd break this empty window right here. And that's what we did. That was a close one. It's time to escape this horde and keep moving. For that night, we traveled along, looting houses as we go, not really finding much yet. But we had to keep moving, because that horde, yeah, they were on our tail. It was now day, and we had lost the horde in the night. Now zombies do spawn in the day and they don't burn for sure. But the day is a lot easier than the night for some reason. But even as our group was completely and utterly just in a bit of chaos mode right now, all talking over each other, all having plans on what we should do, we all agreed on one thing, and that's we should find a place to settle. Make a house, make a building, a fort. Somewhere where we can be safe and survive endless nights And with that, we found a town that we were going to settle nearby with. And I had also found a massive stash of hay bales. That would give us some temporary food. But I was currently waiting in a house, waiting for Jack to come over with backup. So while he grabs the hay bales, I can defend him with the baseball bat with nails that I had just acquired. Jack was harvesting the hay bales, and we were defending him. Finding his food is much needed. With the food acquired, it was now time to settle down. We found this field nearby the town we were just at, and this is where we agreed we were going to build a fort and where we were going to live. And I'm telling you this right now, it couldn't have came at a better time. The blood moon was rising, and when this happens, the zombies, it's a frenzy. If we were outside right now, we wouldn't be able to survive. As a group, we huddled together and prayed that the walls would hold and we'd survive the night. We survived, but we had a slight problem. Now, we might have survived the night, but the zombies that came with the night, they're still here. And there's a lot of them. We had to get rid of them. So with that, we all took positions and we started slicing them through the fence. Slowly but surely breaking down the horde. But after killing zombie after zombie, we started to realize that maybe staying home isn't the best thing to do. We do need a safe place to be when we're on the server for sure. But I think we have to go out and loot. Get stronger. The admins had placed loot all over the world for this reason, to make it more entertaining for them. So they don't just watch people for 100 days sit inside their base, all safe and cozy. They want you to take risks. So with that, Jack and I decided that we'd go. While Bubbles and Dermo would attempt to make this into a fortress where we can be fully self-sufficient, grow food, have all the materials we need like building blocks, so when it comes to it, we have a place to be safe. And myself and Jack then would get supplies for the four of us. We all agreed on one thing before we left, that it's the four of us and that's it. We're gonna survive the 100 days together. So with that, Dermos and Bubbles got building and stayed at home, and we headed off into the wilderness, ready to see what this world had to offer us. Jack and I took things slow while searching the wilderness, moving every single time the sun was rising, and then hiding every single time the sun was falling. We were following power lines, in hopes that that would lead us to a big town, and then looting whatever houses we could get along the way. I say it was maybe 3 days or so we were following these power lines. But I must admit, it did pay off in the end, because it led us into a town which had a decent bit of loot inside it. And this is when Jack found ammo for the gun that had been carrying for so long. And now, we had our first gun with actual ammo inside it. But we were taking things very slow, just keeping a lookout. There's a lot of players on the server currently right now. We gotta be safe. It's always better to be safe than, I suppose, being dead. And when walking back to Jack, I saw a name that wasn't us. Jack and I hid in an apartment room with my shotgun aimed at the door, There were 2 players. It was Rainbow and Midori. They might have spotted us because they were talking in chat. But we were just staying quiet. And a bit of time passed. And it seemed like they were gone. But just in case, we exited the building slowly. But that was our first player encounter out in the actual wild. But it was time to keep moving. And then when looting a small little village, I spotted another player in the distance. And Jack and I, well, we didn't want to be evil. We didn't want to just kill people. But we wanted stuff. And we wanted stuff for our players. Dermo and Bubbles, they didn't have the greatest PCs. Especially Dermo. And this guy, from what I see from the distance, has diamond leggings. So we came up with a plan. Will you help?
Excuse me?
Will you help me? I have nothing.
You have nothing?
Nothing. Will you help me clear this house?
Someone already cleared that house?
No, it's zombie infested.
Oh, it's completely zombie infested.
Well, yeah, there were zombies there anyway. Help me?
I could, but I'm not very good at fighting, man.
No problem.
I think we just kind of need to find a safe place for the night, man.
Just around the corner.
Yeah.
On this
Yeah,
house.
you're in that barn though, aren't you? So you're here.
No, no.
You're going
The
very
yellow
far
one.
away.
The yellow one.
It's just here. Can you come up behind? If I go behind these rocks, can you come up and get behind them?
Yeah.
Oh wait.
This?
Wait, never mind. Okay, just do your thing. There's no zombies here
Should
now.
we just kind of find a place to stay for the night, man?
Hi, buddy.
Excellent.
Look. We can all live here. I just need those pants. That's it. This is not even for me.
Here you go, man. Here you go. Just take the stuff.
No problem, right?
I'll let you live.
Now, get yourself nice and cozy in here. Move out of the way quickly. Get yourself nice and cozy in here. Stay here for the night.
I'll be the other side.
I mean, are you sure zombies will spawn in here?
Yeah, that's fine. Get in the corner. And be safe. There you go. There's some pants for extra protection. Come on, Jack. We gotta go. Come on, let's get home.
Yeah.
Right, we can give those to
yeah.
we can give these to Derma. After that successful hold up, I hope that guy's doing alright in the barn right now. We were home with a fresh pair of leggings, but like I said, they weren't for me. They were Dermo. We wanted to keep him safe. His PC is not the greatest, and the mod pack that we're playing on is pretty darn intensive. It can be laggy at times. And look, if these leggings help him live, I want to do all the best for my members. We can't save everyone, but I can try save the players that are living with us. I went down to the mine to find Dermo, and after a while of searching, I found him.
Oh,
Stay safe.
thanks.
But during that night, I couldn't help but feel bad. I felt terrible for the player we just robbed. He was solo and alone, and we didn't even offer him to come home with us. So as soon as the sun rose and it was safe to go out, we started heading back to the barn, hoping we'd find him. He wasn't at the barn, so we decided to head in the direction he was going when I first met him, and that was the road going up the village. And that's when we found him, where, let's just say, he didn't want to be caught by us again. Hello? No, please. Yo, it's okay,
Whoa.
It's all good.
I don't mean any harm.
We feel bad.
Oh?
Are you with anyone?
Yeah, I was on my way to like a base, but yeah.
Well, we've got a settlement if you want to join us. No games this time. We feel honestly so bad. We went back to the little barn, but you'd run off, so we just guessed from the direction you were going.
Give me 1 second, technical trouble.
Yeah, we have a settlement. If you'd like to join, it's nearby. It's safe. You won't die. And then you can slowly, hopefully, meet up with your friends.
Sure, I'll follow you guys for now, as long as it's not like another trap.
It's not a trap. Yeah, I know. It's not a trap. We feel bad, honestly.
No worries, man. I got like some food out of it.
Yeah, okay. It's right. Come with us and we'll take you there. Now Jack and I, we had a new plan. And that was to defy the Abbots and to gather as many players as we could, making massive settlement and all survive the 100 days together. So with that, Jack agreed to take Knight back to the settlement, and then both myself and Jack would head out solo and alone to find and recruit more players for our camp. And with this, I said to the group that I'm going to disconnect myself from Discord and fully immerse myself into the project. And if anything happens to the camp, I won't know until I return home. I asked for Knight's iron armor because I was heading out alone and he was heading back to camp where he can make some more there. But Knight was very skeptical of us. I don't blame him. We just robbed him. But now, it was time to survive by myself. It's the first time going solo. Going solo and not knowing where I needed to go, I found myself not finding any houses. And it was nighttime, and to make it worse, it was raining. I just don't like rain. But finally, I had found myself a house. I'm gonna stay here until the day. Or that's what I thought anyway. The zombies started gathering, and they were breaking through the doors. And to make it worse, there was a player on the other side, who I didn't know was friendly or not. And he had a gun. Just to make it worse. I knew with the doors breaking, I had to get out of here. So I did what I had to do. Please don't shoot. Please don't shoot, please don't shoot, please don't shoot. I have to leave that house. Please don't shoot. Please don't shoot. Please don't shoot. I'm coming in. Actually, maybe not. Too risky. I'd made it to the house. I did try to break into his house because I wanted to survive the night with him. He didn't shoot me and he had every opportunity to. Maybe this is a player that can come back to the camp with me. I've just gotta hope the zombies don't break down this door. This is going to be a long night. It was just very awkward, having one another just across the road from each other. Just surviving the night. Just trying to live. He was on top of a roof, while I was just standing in a house, waiting. And everything was fine. And to be honest, I couldn't really see him on the roof, other than just his name. But watching replay mod, the zombies must have broke into the house, and they managed to get onto the roof by the hole that he had created, and they knocked him into a horde down below. He didn't even stand a chance. His life was taken away in seconds, and it was over for him and his journey. It just proved how strong those zombies can be when they're all together. And to make it worse, the sun was just rising. He nearly made it the night, but now he was dead. I know his body was barely cold, but I rushed over. I wanted his loot. Anything I could get. And this guy was absolutely stacked with weaponry. He had tons. I gathered it all up and then went into the house to see maybe was this his base? Was he living here? But no, it was just a place he was taking refuge just like me. When his zombie walked into the house. When you die, you come back, and you come back to hunt others. Come back zombified. After this encounter, it made me realize that maybe what I'm doing here is actually worth it. Trying to get as many players together as possible. Because together, as corny as it sounds, we're stronger. I just hope that when I die, or if I die, I don't end up being a human Happy Meal. But the adventure continues. And hopefully the next player I come across, I'll be able to save. Okay, yeah, hi. You see me in the tree? Yeah, it's the next day for me. And let's just say everything's changed. So when we logged on today, every player I assumed got the same book as me, which said, "Hello guys, it's been a few hours. So I just wanted to give you more information on what will be happening at the end. One plane will be coming to pick you up, but there's a small twist. Only 5 players will be able to get onto that plane. Good luck." And the book also read, "Feel free to use your siege token to purchase upgrades. Order and you shall receive." This has completely thrown everything upside down. This is not just a 5 to the 100 days and you win type thing. This is literally a zombies Hunger game that we're playing in. So now, the whole story, the whole mission of trying to get as many players as possible to come back to our camp has changed. Right now, if Bubbles, Dermo, Knight, and myself and Jack are all still alive, that's 5. We're the perfect amount of players to get out all alive. Bringing anyone else into the squad is useless, because one of us will have to be left behind. And for the longest time ever, and since the starting days of all the looting we've been doing, I've been disregarding the siege tokens as useless items, not knowing they're literally a currency for the game. So now it's time to scout, not for weapons, but for currency. With the currency, we can buy everything we need, including weapons, ammo, and even better armor. So over the course of the next few days, I started looting like a madman, trying to gather every siege token I can use. Now there's different tiers of these things I realized, and different tiers are responsible for different things. For example, tier 7 coins are used for buying weapons, and they're one of the rarest to come by. While looting a town at night, that's how desperate I was and how much I was racing. I was playing at night where I should be hiding. I spotted a helicopter flying over top. That was someone getting a supply drop. So our squad, well, we were already behind the curve. Anyone who was keeping siege coins, they were the lucky ones. I think a lot of players were throwing them out thinking that they're useless. Going house to house, I walked into a house that had a grave of a player. Spiny. I knew this guy, but he obviously didn't recognize me because he was a dead zombie. And now his loot was there on the ground for me to take. I popped him open and he exploded. So much loot, so much to filter through. It took me so long. But the main thing was, he had a few siege coins, which I took and kept moving. I was an absolute machine, just rushing from each house to another, using my axe as much as I could against the zombies, instead of wasting precious ammo, which I might need for the bigger towns where more of the zombies live. But there's more loot there. I suppose that makes sense. High risk, high reward. But the main towns are not somewhere where I want to go near. It's where all the players live, and from what I could see, a lot of players were dying from other players there. Pretty much a bandit zone. I found myself in a village, and there was nothing different about this. Like I said, I've been looting for days, just going from house to house to house. But I found something that I hadn't seen before yet. And watching this back, I didn't notice that it was a vehicle. I thought it was just one of those vehicles that were just pre-built by the map. But as I was attempting to loot this lovely, lovely garage here, as you can see, which had a ton of zombies inside it, better be worth it, I finally noticed the truck that was sitting there. I got inside it, turned on the engine. It did start, but the problem was, it wasn't really moving properly. That's when I got out and realized that the poor truck was missing 3 wheels. 1 at the front and 2 at the back. That's why it wasn't moving. But that was interesting. I now knew where a truck lied. And if I get the right tier of siege tokens, I can actually purchase the wheels for it. And then repair that thing up and drive it. So I noted down the location and I kept moving. That's when traveling up the coastal road, I found another player's settlement. This was the first settlement that I came across. This map, from looting, I had realized is massive. Like, it's so big. It made it a challenge, and it made it so when you went on an adventure, you were very far and disconnected from your team. I suppose the admins wanted a big map so that there would be enough loot for everyone. Otherwise, it'd be slightly unfair. But night was falling, and I was in a house across the way from the player camp. And from what I could see, I couldn't see if anyone was home or not. Until that night, the zombies started heading toward the player camp's walls. Meaning, there had to be someone inside there. Maybe multiple, I'm not sure. But there were definitely players inside. And there was. I could see a player on the roof. The sun was rising, and the player inside, there was more activity going on by the seams of it. Now, I didn't want to start a fight, because obviously now we knew what the end goal was. It was survive to the end and make it on that plane. Just the 5 of us. Our moment to fight will come. That's when I noticed a player coming out of the camp. And it looks like he was probably doing his daily routine of taking the horde that had gathered around his base at night and leading them away, shooting his gun as he went. Almost signaling to me, hey, I'm gone from the base, you can rob it. So I rushed over. I assumed the base was alone and empty, for the fact that no zombies were targeted on anyone else. I got up to the walls of the camp, knowing that the player who had just left was just down the road. I couldn't see anyone else inside. No names, no nothing. So, I rushed on inside, ready to steal all the siege coins that they might have. But I did notice that they had custom armor on, so maybe they've already spent it. That kind of armor can only be bought with siege coins. I slowly went into the house, just taking it slow in case anyone was waiting for me. I'm very paranoid at this point. I went onto the roof to have a look to see if anyone was returning. I couldn't see anyone. It was now time to rob. I started looking through the chests to see if I could find anything. There was a lot of zombie flesh. But I found a standard car wheel. That would be useful. But I didn't have much use for it because I hadn't found a car yet. That's when I stumbled across a truck wheel. That is what I have use for. Because we know exactly where a truck is. It's been a few days since I've been back there. But hopefully it's still there. And with finding that one truck wheel, I now had enough siege coins to buy the 2 other ones. So I didn't get what I actually wanted from this raid, which was coins. But I did get something really useful. And I was about to explore more of the base when I heard a gunshot, signaling he was returning. With that, I legged it out of here. Jumped right over his fence. I bolted from the scene. Now knowing I just found a truck wheel and had enough to buy 2 more wheels, that would be 3 wheels. Quick maths. But I wanted to make sure that the truck was still there before I wasted my coins. I was back at the truck location, eager to see if the truck was there. But when I looked over, the truck was gone. Someone has obviously beaten me to it. And I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty darn gutted. I wanted to drive a truck. Like, that's just so zombie apocalypse feeling to me. I don't know, just driving a truck through the wilderness. Nothing better. But it was gone. And now I had to stay here and wait for day, because I don't fancy being a Happy Meal. But as I waited the night, I could start to hear beeping. To be honest, listening to it back now, it sounds like beeping of a radio. Curiosity got the better of me, so I jumped down, hoping to find the source of whatever this was beeping. And just to my left, I could see it was the truck. Crashed into the forest, beeping away. It was still here. And maybe the player that tried to drive it was still here. Or maybe that player's dead. Probably dead. I went closer to the truck to investigate. Having a look around, of course, to see where any players about, but I couldn't see anyone. No names. and instantly I could see that there were 2 wheels put on the back of it. But the first wheel was still missing. Someone had clearly tried to drive it with no front wheel, and with that crashed into the forest and probably had to abandon it. That player probably is now out searching for another truck wheel. Little did they know, they've just basically given me a free truck. That's of course if I can get this zombie horde to stop following me. I stuck the wheel on, and then I did a little bit of cardio, looping around the forest to try gain as much space between me and the zombies as possible so that when I jump in the truck, I can drive away. And that's what I did. I jumped in the truck, and I put pedal to the metal. I now had a truck. And also, I had all the siege coins I needed to buy everything I wanted. Things were looking bright for me and the squad. If they're still alive, of course. I've disconnected fully from Discord, so I don't know. But soon, we'll be meeting up with them. There's just one more hurdle that I gotta cross. And that's getting my supply drop. After driving all night, I'd finally came to the coastal road. And if you don't know, all the big cities lie on the coastal road. They're all on the coast. Not many big cities are inland, just mostly villages and small little settlements. But before I decide if I drive left or right, I wanted to wait and purchase my supplies here at this crossroads. Because on Discord there were 3 drop zones. Drop zone 1, drop zone 2, and drop zone 3. And right now I was in between drop zone 1 and 2. 2 is left, 1 is right. So with that, I went on Discord, looking at all the prices and everything I can buy. I put in my order, and I waited. And then a few minutes later, I checked my inventory, and my siege coins were mostly all gone. The admins had taken them, and I was informed that my supply drop would be the next night. I have all night to retrieve the supply drop. If I don't get it within then, the helicopter will fly away with my supplies and I won't be able to get them back again. So with that, I knew I needed to head right. Drop zone 1 was the area I was told to go to. And with the truck, I'll be able to make it there in no time. I was getting close to the town, so I decided to park my truck up and head in on foot. I knew that anyone could just steal the truck, but there's nothing I can do about it. I was on the clock here. We had one night to grab my supplies, get into the city, and wait for the helicopter. I took a tactical route. I knew that drop zone 1 was on the docks, so instead of going straight through the town, I went around the town, ignoring the town center where mostly all zombie hordes live, taking it nice and slow, keeping an eye out. When I could finally see drop zone 1 over the wall. It was nighttime, but the helicopter wasn't here yet. And they had definitely said this night. I was getting nervous in case maybe I got it wrong, but I did check Discord and it was drop zone 1. Maybe the helicopter was just late. The map is big after all. I was very much alert, keeping an eye out, waiting for the helicopter to come, when I crawled under the fence and spotted another player who was in custom armor who had clearly got their supply drop. I knew it wasn't mine just because of the armor that they were wearing. It's not the armor I ordered. I was in no luxury of running away because I had to stay here for my drop. After waiting for what seemed like an eternity, the helicopter came into render distance, landing at the drop zone. I rushed in, knowing that if I don't go for it now, every second I waste, someone might seize this opportunity. I threw out most of my scrap items and started trying to grab everything I could, as quick as I could. My hands were shaking because I thought I was going to get attacked. I didn't want to die now, I was too invested. I now had everything, and it was time to go. And with that, I could hear the helicopter taking off behind me and leaving. I had no clue where that player was. I found a quiet spot so I could hopefully organize my inventory. I had ordered a lot and my inventory was an absolute mess. But the place where I was organizing, I realized I had a sniper and a really, really dirty spot on Drop Zone 1. And this, after all, is a game. And I don't want to be too ruthless and just go killing everyone. But at the same time, if I could wait here and steal someone else's supply drop and then give that to my team, that would be beneficial. After all, only 5 players can leave this island. We're dead no matter what if we don't get on that plane. So I waited and waited until I spotted someone heading towards what looked like the supply drop. And with my sniper, I was able to see who it was. It was a Mill ruse. And the Mill has been quite evil in all our shows. You know, he doesn't really have much respect for other players in game, of course. And he was getting himself a supply drop. And I was moving into position to take him out. But just before I was about to shoot or go over and engage, I could see 2 more players. Who were shooting at a Mill. This changed the dynamic completely. And now, I almost felt bad for a Mill. This could have happened to me. So I engaged the 2 others. A Mill had gotten himself trapped in water. And he was a sitting duck. If I wasn't here, he definitely would have been murdered. I was doing my best to defend the Mill, but I wasn't trying to put myself in the firing line. He wasn't part of my squad. Emil? But I was trying to scream over, so he knows that I'm on his side mutually. And right now it's a 2v2, and it feels good. He didn't shoot at me, so I assume he knew that I was doing my best to defend him. That's when I whispered him to jump onto Discord, so we can communicate and maybe get ourselves some loot here. Emil and I instantly got talking. We thought that the 2 lads were backing off, but Sorrow and Wilboat were actually trying to push on us still. So with that, we knew we wanted to fight. It was a 2v2, and whoever comes out of this fight will come out hopefully stronger. They were pushing, so we decided to keep pushing back, and I lobbed a grenade. This grenade instantly changed the game, and now the 2v2 was a 2v1. We had taken out Sorrow. Now both myself and Emil expected Wilboat to push back, but I think after killing his friend, maybe it made him want us dead even more, because he still kept fighting. We were trying to get closer to secure Sorrow's loot, which we didn't want to open just yet, because our inventories were full and we didn't want anything clear lagging. But Wilboat was still in the picture, and with the zombie horde still chasing him, he was still after us. Motivated by revenge. While Emil and myself were behind the hospital building trying to get refuge from all the zombies that were around that had been attracted by the gunfire. We stumbled across a missing gnome who was defending himself from zombies. I told him to get on the ground and let me help him. This was a very awkward and chaotic scene. We thought Gnome was an innocent bypasser, but actually he was with Wilboat. And we had the chance to kill him, but we didn't. We got on the roof of the hospital building, and still Gnome and Wilboat were putting up a fight. Honestly shocked that they weren't running away yet. He was just across the way. We jumped off the hospital building to try and rotate our position, so we could hopefully get in behind them and take them out swiftly and save ammo. But when we got around, we could see that they had gotten to Sorrow's loot, and now Gnome had Sorrow's armor on and was now properly geared. I shot my sniper rifle and he fell off into the horde. He was on the run and he was trying to group up with Wilboat. And we decided to go on the offensive. It was time to clear out these group of players. And it felt good, to be honest, because Emil did inform me that he's been a solo player this whole time and has been fairly good, barely killed anyone. But these players here have been camping the supply drops, hence why their gear is so random. We kept chasing them down the docks until we started to realize that Gnome and Wilbo were heading in a dead end. So this was only going to end one way or another, and that was by clear fighting. But every time we got closer, they kept running, trapping themselves even more. I pushed up to them, and every time we got closer, they continued to run. When Wilbo abandoned Gnome and left him by himself. Now there was a big open field, and I had a thing called a sniper. I took it out, and one bullet was all I needed. Gnome's dead. Wilboat, here we come. Wilboat had hit the end, and it was the end of the line for him. And on the Discord rules it said we can't touch the water. So he knew if he jumped inside it, he was dead anyway. But at all costs, myself and Emil didn't want him to jump into the water. Because if he did that, we wouldn't be able to get his loot. Which was the whole reason why we did this. Down! On the ground! Turn away! Look away! Look away to your dead end! Down! On the ground! On the ground! Lie down! Lie down! Lie down! Take a weapon out your hand. Take off your armor. At least if he takes off his armor, one of us again. God. Trying to steal someone's supply drop. Who would do that? Totally wasn't doing it myself, but hey, anyway. You're not speaking chat? Evil in medieval. Evil in this. Look, this is the mill. Hey. We're working together for once. You know what, Wilbo? You're a great soul. But you know what? I let you off once. You betrayed me, medieval. After a while of talking, Emil decided to join us. He knew that our group was full, and we had 5 people. And if it comes to us winning the final event, then one of us will make the sacrifice, so the others can win. But we'll come to that when we get to it. I had trust in Emil because of what we've just done. We'd fought together, we killed together, and we played as a team. If I can't trust him now, when can I? I led him to the truck, we got in, and it was now time to return home to the camp. If the camp still exists. Driving up to the camp, my heart was in my mouth. Because 1, the camp might not exist, and 2, I might be bringing home a murderous player back home. But when I got there, I could see that the structure had definitely changed. But was there any signs of life? Hello? Does home still exist? Oh, I see someone. Does home still exist? Hello?
What's up?
And there, I could see the knight in red on a tower. And Dermo! Home! I'm home! Can you guys break me in? Camp was still here, and they had done a lot. It might not look like a lot since I've been gone. I've been gone for a while, but taking ground is harder than you think. But they had managed to stay alive, which was the main thing. They made a way for the truck to get in quickly, and they patched it up before the horde could flood in. We were home. They were alive. Except one player. Bubbles sadly died in the construction of this base. A rogue zombie managed to break his way in through a crack in the wall. And Bubbles was AFK. didn't stand a chance. Domo and Knight also informed me that Jack had not returned yet. And like we all said, we're all disconnected on Discord. So if he's died, we don't know that. And he won't tell me either, to make it more fun and mystery. Let's just hope he returns soon, because the end game, the final game, is only a few days away. So with this, we started dispersing all the loot to Dermo and Knight that we had gotten. And for the next few days, I'm gonna chill at the base that they've made and hope that Jack comes back. Because if he does, with this squad, we have a real chance of winning this. We were now at day 100. The purge, as the admin had called it, had begun. Really, we called it the Great Escape Day as the team. Every team and base and player were giving a huge supply drop of just simple weaponry in case you were too cowardly to go out into the world and to buy your own weapons. These weapons were simple and they weren't fantastic. So really, with 3 of us having our own custom weapons, it's going to be a huge deal. And definitely is going to change the game, hopefully. Because the weapons that the admins had supplied us with weren't fantastic. While I was waiting for the final days to come, Emil had gotten himself a motorbike. And I must admit, he looked insanely cool on it. So good on him. It was time to say goodbye to the camp that allowed these 2 members to stay safe, stay alive. We had achieved what we wanted to do so far, and that was all survivors as a unit, a group of 5 players ready to escape this map. It was now time to head back to where we landed, and hopefully where we'll be leaving at the end. We got close to the airfield, and we decided to bring the vehicles in with us. They're not really used for anything other than transporting, and they were very handy for the 100 days adventure itself. But we thought maybe the truck could be used as moving cover. We are fighting on an airfield, as you know. And when driving in, we could see all the little squads. We were late to the party, and they had already taken very nice vantage points. But luckily the admins had placed down crates and extra cover, just to make it a little bit more fair. We had spotted crates on the right side of the airfield. This is where we decided we'd set up and start the battle from here. The aim of this game is simple. All players must stay inside the boundary walls and cannot leave. The plane is coming into land shortly, and when the plane turns off its engines, the battle, the fight may begin. And this plane will only leave when there are 5 or less surviving. It's that simple. After a little while of waiting, the plane came in to land. Anxiously watching its propellers, waiting for the plane to turn off. I gave a little good luck to everyone in the chat. Any moment now, that engine's about to turn off, and all hell is about to break loose. Let the games begin. Scouting around, we could see our first priority and who we needed to take out. There were players on the right hand side of the airfield, hogging the boundary walls. These players had themselves in an awful position, and we had to take advantage of that. It was time to wipe out this unit. These players were not leaving the island today. Using the sniper, I got one. And now the players in the corner were using the grave as cover. Jack and I decided to push closer. We started pushing closer with grenades in our hands. They attempted to throw down smoke grenades, so that hopefully they could keep moving and move to cover. But with this, I threw a grenade into the smoke. It exploded, wiping out 2 of them, leaving only 1 player behind. He didn't last long, and with that, this unit was wiped out. They were out of the game. And now, from what we're aware of, we had 2 units, or 2 factions, one on top of the hangar, and one in the air control tower. who were most likely fighting it out. We started pushing closer to the hangars to start our engagement on them. This one was slightly more tricky. These players had the high ground. We had to be careful and take this slow, pushing very, very slowly. Anytime we got closer, they had grenades lobbed down at us. And as you just saw a few minutes ago, grenades are very powerful. While Emil and Jack got close, I was sniper support in the background. These guys didn't know it yet, but they were sandwiched in between two teams. The team in the hangar and us. And it was only a matter of time before they get squished. After a while of fighting, we finally managed to get ourselves up onto one of the hangars, slowly pushing them back. Until they had nowhere else to go but to jump off. So with that, we started going across onto the other hangar. Getting people off the high ground was our strategy here. Getting people out of their bases was the plan. And this was the first stronghold we had managed to get rid of. With that achieved, now we had players on the air control tower that we were worried about. They were our main priority to try and get rid of. And luckily our hangar was just slightly taller than the control tower, giving us a perfect line of fire. Some players were so desperate they were even trying to get into the plane, but that plane isn't leaving until only 5 people remain or less. Going back to the control tower conquest, we had achieved a lot. The players that were on that were now only inside. It was time to try and clear them out. They had shotguns, so we needed to be careful. Shotguns are highly deadly at close range. They had cowered on into the inside, but we weren't going to chase them close quarters. That would be too dangerous. So we just kept opening fire on the people on the airfield, putting my sniper to good use. At this point, we were just hunting down anyone we could find by themselves, taking out the weak. After all, this is survival, and we want to get out of here alive. Hammer Time had got himself into a tricky situation, and let's just say,
wait, time out, gotta kill this.
He came to an explosive end.
Okay,
Midori, a survivor we saw in the starting days, was back on the hangar and was trying to use it as a little base, but we weren't allowing it. We drove her off the hangar roof, falling to her death. This was when we cleared out the air control tower, making sure no one was hiding inside it, like a coward. With that, we knew that no one else was now hiding. It was all the people on the runway that we needed to take care of. It was one final squad, I believe, but they were completely disorganized. They were hanging by the plane in desperation to get out of here. With the zombie horde stuck on them, we were taking the opportunity to hunt them. We chased Sicko around the place, chasing him down and not letting up. We were hunting now, and at this point, the stress of trying to survive was kind of going, and with each kill, we were gaining confidence. We were doing what the other teams weren't doing, sticking together and not playing solo. Sicko put up an amazing run, but my revolver was too much. Now, the game was really won. SD Trex was the last player surviving, and he was hiding somewhere. So while everyone was looking, I decided to take out some of the horde, because they were being an absolute nuisance. That's when SD Trex, with the others chasing him, ran to the plane in desperation in hopes that that thing would fly. But it wasn't going anywhere, because there were 6 players alive, and it'll only take off with 5 players or less. He was sitting in the plane, begging, but begging won't get you anywhere in a world like this. It was now time to get out of it. We had survived, with only one member dying in the group a few days ago. That was Bubbles. Everyone else had survived the onslaught. We had won this zombie apocalypse. But will we win the next one?